Merry Christmas, everybody! It's your host, me, Danny, and today I'm coming at you with another Friday Christmas edition. Now, I've been waiting for this for such a long time because you guys may remember I did this but on Halloween, and I was originally I'm gonna do it on Halloween, but then I thought why do that when no, I was originally going to upload it on the 28th as a Halloween thing, but then I decided, why would I do that when Halloween is only 2 days away? So how about I do the first episode, and then the second episode will be a Halloween edition. But today is a Friday Christmas edition, and not to mention that I'm wearing my Santa hat, and I'm wearing my Spider-Man and Iron Man Christmas socks, which are pretty dope. I just got them today, so. Yeah, it's gonna be lit. So let's just start with the first video. We'll start off with 4 llama art stories, 1 Monster Entertainment, and 2 Crypt TV stories. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and start with the first one. So yeah, on this first video is called A Christmas Horror Story Animated. So without any further ado, let's get started. Remember, once again, it's made by Llama Arts. A video and link description. All videos and channels will be linked in the description below. But without any further ado, let's go and get started. In 3, 2, 1, play. So yeah, guys, this first one is called A Christmas Horror Story Animated.
This story took place about 5 years ago on Christmas Eve night. It was around 1 in the morning, and I had just finished placing presents under the tree. I went upstairs to brush up and everything, then came back downstairs to the kitchen to get a glass of water before bed. My son Jake, who was 4 at the time, was standing by the stairs leading to the basement.
Jake, what are you doing?
I asked him what he was doing up so late. He pointed down the stairs and said, "Santa." I picked him up and carried him back to his room. I took a glass of water and went to bed.
What's down there?
I woke up around an hour later to my son running down the hall outside.
Jake, what are you doing?
I sighed and got out of bed. As I was going down the stairs, I saw Jake by the tree looking at presents. Then he ran past me into the basement stairs again. He pointed down the stairs again. This time I looked down the stairwell, and my heart dropped as I saw a black figure sitting on the bottom step. I almost screamed, but I somehow held it in. I pulled my son quietly away
What is
from the
that?
basement
That's
door
not a human. It
closer to the
had
front door
Spock
of the
ears.
house. I moved my hand away from my son's mouth to reach for the lock in the doorknob. I tried to pull the door open as quietly as possible, but it was pointless. The squeaky hinges let out the usual ear-piercing screeches, and I
hate
closed
that!
my mouth and eyes as I did. Suddenly, there were heavy stomps coming from up the basement stairs. I screamed and pushed
dude, that thing has Spock ears. That's no human.
Outside. I shut
threw your
both
son
doors
out of the
behind
snow.
us and we ran to the neighbor's house.
So,
I rang the doorbell as fast as possible,
Brady.
probably 30 times before they answered.
Just throws them
After
spiral.
that, we went inside and stayed there and waited for the police. Whoever that person was gone, though, as determined after the police conducted a thorough investigation of the house. I ended up lying to Jake, telling him that actually was Santa Claus, but a few years later, he remembered the incident and became a little more wise to what actually happened.
Yo, that is creepy. And that's also why I don't have a basement in my house, because no. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Alright guys, so this next one is called True Snowstorm Stories Animated. It's not really Christmas related, but it has to do with snow, and it's scary.
I took a trip last year
so
with
close
my
enough,
wife
right?
to the Colorado mountains for an art project. My wife is also an avid skier, so she talked me into adding skiing into the trip. We had the option to book a room at a ski resort or rent out a private log cabin. The second one seemed more romantic, so I picked that one. Plus, it didn't hurt that it was cheaper. The cabin was nothing luxurious or anything. It was a single-floor, 4-room little thing. A 2-person bedroom, a small living room, a kitchen, and a bathroom.
Okay, seems normal enough.
Small, but the actual idea
and this actually looks really nice.
A warm log
really
cabin during a blizzard was amazing. However, the storm was interfering with the cable signal, so we didn't have much to do this one particular evening. It was just starting to get dark out at this point, but there was still a decent amount of light outside, so I thought it would be perfect for getting a few shots and videos in the blizzard for backgrounds and wallpapers.
Okay.
I told my wife I'd be back within 10 minutes and slipped on my boots and coat. The moment I stepped outside and shut the door, I noticed footsteps leading up to the door in the snow that had blown under the wooden awning. I could see the prints doubled as whoever left them there turned and went the opposite direction.
No.
I was freaked the fuck out, but I wasn't about to go inside and scare my wife. I decided to give in to my curiosity and followed the prints to the right side of the cabin.
Even though it led to the right side.
They led to the bedroom window. My heart froze in fear when I saw this. I could see my wife sitting on the bed using her iPad. She noticed me and I waved. She laughed. I continued to follow the footprints around the cabin to the other side. They led to the living room window on the other side. Someone was stalking us, but how long ago was the question? I found myself standing there for a good minute asking myself if I should follow the footprints anymore.
Don't investigate.
For whatever reason, I decided I would. They were now leading away from the cabin. I knew I was following the prints to where this person was going.
I know at this point I said it a lot, but this dude looks like a grown-up version of me.
From the opening and
green eyes, blonde hair. Well, actually, in real life, my blonde hair is actually turning dirty blonde. Oh,
slouched down,
so it's brown.
At the ground. He was still as a statue, and I could see the snow
piling up on
his hood and shoulders.
They were all veiny.
Tracks, trying not to make a sound. I would have thought to ask him if he needed help otherwise, but this guy was just standing there, not doing anything, like some kind of deranged freak.
He's a zombie!
He started to gradually move backwards without even turning around, making sure this man didn't turn around or notice me.
Well, you're fairly built, you probably take him on.
And stomped through the snow back to the cabin. When I slammed the door shut, my wife came over to see what was wrong. I saw worry in her eyes. I guess she saw the worry in mine. She knew I saw something, and after a few minutes of harassment, I finally told her what I saw. She immediately started packing her things, telling me
I did the same thing.
I told her no, we're not going anywhere. I would not get a refund for leaving early, and I wasn't about to up and leave just because some weird guy was walking around outside.
He was watching y'all!
She made a point of locking both locks on the door and making sure all of the windows were sealed shut. For the rest of the night, we read stuff on our iPads. I reviewed the pictures and videos I had taken so far. We turned out the lights early as there wasn't much else to do. What if
you ever heard of
There's no way he's still out there, I then assured her.
What's wrong with me? It's Christmas, bro. Bad me.
Listening to the wind blowing outside, along with the small flakes of snow hitting the windows, was strangely relaxing, and I knew I'd be able to fall asleep quickly. Except if it wasn't for...
Nope!
The knock at the bedroom window. We were both still awake, and we both knew it was a knock from a person. I ushered my wife out of bed and out into the living room without turning on any lights. There was nothing to use as a weapon whatsoever. Our only option was to run before something might happen. I told my wife we'd have to forget our luggage and make a dash for the Jeep. We slipped on our boots and coats in the dark in a matter of seconds, and when we heard a knock at the living room window from the opposite side of our car, we took that opportunity to run. I pressed the unlock button, so grateful I chose to have remote locks on my Wrangler, and we hopped in. The car started with ease, and as soon as the headlights flashed on, the man was standing facing the log cabin on our side now. Not a window, just facing the wall of the cabin in the same position I had seen him in earlier, as if he were hiding his face. We drove to the nearby ski resort without much trouble in the Jeep. We stayed there for the night and went back the next day to the log cabin to collect our things we left behind. He wasn't there.
Wow. No thank you. I am never going to a log cabin. But yeah, once again, that wasn't really a Christmas horror story. It just had snowstorm, and I decided, whatever, I'll just put it in there. But now let's get to the real Christmas stuff. Alright, so the next one is called a Christmas Eve Horror Story Animated. Wow, this music. Giving me the chills already. The video hasn't even really started. Oh, that music.
Last year on Christmas Eve, I was working late. I'm 23. I work in New York City and commute home every day on the train. Since I'm one of the younger ones in the office, I got stuck with one of the worst shifts.
Hold up.
So I wasn't able to get home until 5
That guy
o'clock.
looks like the Snapchat
My family
guy.
had already left a whole hour earlier to go to my cousin's house, so I had to drive alone. After having a quick snack before the half-hour drive, I got back in my car and put my cousin's address into my phone. Halfway through the drive, it started snowing. I got to my cousin's house around 6 o'clock. It was snowing heavily by this point, and I just made it in time to catch everyone starting dinner. I brought all of my gifts inside and cheerfully said hey to everyone. I stayed until around 11 o'clock. The rest of my family left a little sooner. I stayed an extra half hour or so just to hang out before leaving myself. By the time I was leaving, the ground had accumulated at least 2 feet of snow.
Wow.
And it wasn't even done snowing. The drive home was nightmarish. The roads were hardly even plowed, and I had to drive under 20 miles per hour on most roads.
Since I live here in Texas,
the roads were completely dead at this point, though.
We don't get
most likely
snow
because everyone was smart enough to go home before the snow accumulated.
Most of the time, we always get snow.
Eventually, I turned onto a main
February.
road that I'm sure would usually be bustling. But at 11:15 on Christmas Eve night, there wasn't a single car or a single light from the store.
Second grade, there
It was a ghost
grade,
town.
There was kind of snow. Fourth
But
grade,
then
nope.
I did
Fifth
notice
grade,
the flashing
little bit.
taillights of one car.
Fifth grade, nope.
It was
Seventh
parked
grade,
on the side
nope.
of the road,
Well, actually,
and
no,
the
seventh
smoke
grade, we
seeping
did
out
have
from
snow.
its exhaust
And
with the
actually, not the
taillights
power
giving it a
out.
red tint.
And last year,
As I got
we got
closer,
snow too.
I realized there was
But
somebody next to
thankfully,
the
it didn't
car
have power
waving
out.
their hand in the air. I assumed something was wrong and they needed help. So, me being the good Samaritan I am, I pulled up behind the car. When I opened my door, the guy approached me immediately, barely even giving me time to step out. He was an average-sized man,
Santa
probably
Claus?
5'10", 180 pounds. He spoke in a very demanding voice, asking me if I know anything about fixing an engine. I told him I didn't know much about cars.
Yeah, me neither.
The guy responded very quickly to everything I said. He told me it's fine. He went inside of his car for a second, popped open his trunk, came back out, and told me to just wait by the trunk for a second. I had no idea what he wanted me to do. I was really confused. He walked over to the front of his car, and I heard him open the hood. I couldn't see anything he was doing since the trunk was blocking my view,
He just
and the
moved.
loud wind of the snowstorm overpowered any small noises he might have been making. I put my hand on the back of the car and leaned my body in anticipation, when suddenly I heard 3 or 4 quick and aggressive footsteps in the snow behind me before I was pushed into the trunk. The man tried to close the trunk on me, but I kicked my feet up in resistance and held it up. I was able to overpower him and kick the trunk open completely. As I took advantage of the few seconds I had to get out of the trunk, I took out my keys. He tried to grab me now, and I dug my house key right into his neck. He fell to his knees and his scream echoed down the deserted street. I was in my car and halfway down the road before he could even get up from his knees. A little further down, I called 911 and reported the guy. I came back in 10 minutes to find blue and red lights illuminating the windows of the deserted stores. The police held him until the ambulance arrived for him. I watched the whole thing, and nothing ever felt better in my life. I got home safely half an hour later and told my family everything. I was still very shaken that Christmas, and this remains possibly the most horrific thing I've ever experienced.
Yo, you guys, you gotta be a lot more cautious when you're helping out people in the dark, the snow, but then again, that dude, that crazy guy, was kind of dumb because he wanted to kidnap that guy in a public area. There were stores, there probably houses nearby too, so kind of weird how we did it in a sort of public setting. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. I'm enjoying these a lot. Alright, so this next one is called A Creepy Christmas Time Story Animated.
It was November of 2006. I was
I was 2 months old at that time.
I went to bed early one night because I had to work the early shift at McDonald's. As I slept, I had a dream that I was running through downtown Des Moines, but I wasn't on a jog. I was running from something. As I
From what?
ran around the corner of a building, I came face to face with my pursuer. A tall man wearing a trench coat and a top hat stood in front of me. The only thing visible of his face was his eyes. They were abnormally large with black pupils, and it looked at me as if it wanted something. After what felt like hours, he reached out his bony hand, as if he wanted me to go with him. I woke up violently from my dream, and after catching my breath, I peered around my room to see if I was safe. As I stood up from my bed, I noticed that I could see my breath. Feeling confused, I checked my window. It was latched shut.
Closed.
I then walked over and checked my vent. I could still feel warm air coming from it. As I sat back down on my bed, I tried to figure out what exactly was going on. That's when the figure from my dream appeared at the foot of my bed. I scrambled back to my headboard.
What do you want?
I asked, trying to hide the shakiness in my voice. With the same bony finger, it pointed at me. Growing up in a religious home, I believed what I was looking at was a demon. I told the creature to leave. It just waved its finger at me, and with a low voice, spoke to me.
You didn't say the magic word.
Always here.
Never leave, always here.
Screamed loudly and disappeared. A feeling of nausea came over me, and I vomited on my floor. The last thing I remember was cleaning myself up and waking up to my alarm.
His vomit was black!
It was about a month since I had seen the top hat-wearing man in my bedroom. The Christmas season was in full effect. My parents weren't home because they got invited to some kind of event, so it was only me and my 3 sisters at home. I had to wake up early in the morning for work, so I decided to go to sleep. I rested my head on my pillow and closed my eyes. Not even 30 seconds passed until my sisters burst into my room and started singing obnoxious songs. This of course made me very angry, but I thought
you poor soul.
That they would leave
I have one sister. Well, no, here in this house, I live with one sister.
Blankets over my head.
I have 3 other sisters.
The same cold feeling that
Actually, no, I have 4. I just found out.
As the obnoxious singing subsided, I lowered the blanket.
But I live with one, my sisters,
saw the man standing
and she's annoying as frick.
In swift motion, he charged towards me.
Oh my God! Oh, that scared me. Oh,
when
Jesus
I
Christ!
Came to, I found that my sisters had locked themselves inside the bathroom. As I knocked on the door, they told me to go away. I asked them what happened, and all they could say was Mom and Dad were on their way home. I looked down and saw that my hand was slightly bloody. Holes were in the bathroom door.
Oh, that jump scare though.
The wall. I then walked into the living room and found that there were knives stuck into the wall as well. The same wave of nausea passed over me, just like in November, and I threw up again. As I was cleaning up, my parents walked through the door.
Oh no.
My father immediately walked over to me and gave me a good beating. Then he sent me to my room. I went to bed crying. Not from the beating. I was crying because of the confusion. I had no idea what was going on. The next morning, my sisters reluctantly sat next
jump
to
scare
me
though.
And told me what had happened.
Llama Arts.
They said I got angry and chased them down and tried to hurt them. They said my eyes were red to the point where they thought I was bleeding from them. They said I sounded like a different person. In 2011, that was the last time I saw the top hat wearing man. I just moved into a new apartment, and after a long stressful
That's the house from that one Home Alone story.
Got ready for bed. As I
started not over yet. I'm pretty sure we're gonna see him again.
I could feel that cold feeling again.
No!
I lifted my head and saw the man standing in front of me.
Please don't jump scare again.
His eyes were red now. With a low voice, just like on that November night, it looked at me and said,
"Never leave. Always here."
Oh my God. Yo! Llama Arts. How about up for Llama Arts, y'all? That was the very first huge scream that was the first actual jump scare that I got on this series. Besides that camping one a few episodes ago. Still get chills from it. Anyway, let's move on to, let me see. Let's move on to the Once Entertainment Christmas story. Alright, so the next one is called Mysterious Happen on Christmas.
I'm 31 years old, as well as a single dad living in a one-story house with my son, named Alex. It all started the night before Christmas, when Alex was 5 years old. Alex was so excited, so we decided to go for a walk around our town.
I see you, Alex.
We were walking down our road, listening to the sound of carolers in the distance. That led us all the way down to the main street. When we came face to face with the 3 old women singing, I took out my phone trying to record a story for my Instagram, just like other people around us.
Hey, get your followers!
When I looked down, I saw my son covering his ears. I stopped recording, crouched down, and asked him what was wrong, but he didn't answer. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see the middle woman of the 3 carolers was giving my son an evil grin with a large, creepy smile. She seemed a little bit weird. Well,
so hillbilly teeth.
Night, so I decided we would
SpongeBob
head back
teeth.
When we
Timmy
reached
Turner
home,
looking
my son
at.
looked relieved. So I thought he just wanted to go watch TV and catch up on his episode he thought that he might miss. Later, as I was cooking in the kitchen, I took a glance at my son, and I could see that he looked absolutely terrified.
Alex?
He was sitting straight up on the couch, which faced the TV. There was a large window next to the couch that had the curtains slightly open. Then he sprinted up quickly, ran to me, and just hugged my leg. "Daddy, she's here," he told me with a shivering voice, and I replied, "Who?" He exclaimed back, "The middle woman we saw when we watched the caroling." I quickly looked at the window, and there really was that old lady we saw not too long ago. I closed my eyes for about 1 second, and when I opened my eyes again, she completely vanished. Being freaked out,
there's a shadow on the ground.
Naturally, telling them about what had just happened.
Is she invisible?
There were 3 cops that showed up, so I explained the incident to them again. And one of the cops showed me a photograph that looked kind of old to me. She was in there. Then she pointed to that old lady, asking if this was her, and I answered yes. She started laughing. My son looked confused until I asked why she was laughing. She stopped and gave us a kind of serious look this time, but was still smiling. Then she said, "Hey, you know what? I know this is weird, but this woman died 3 years ago on this exact same day."
No, you lying.
That's when my son looked terrified too. I tried to calm him down, but I couldn't believe what was going on. The other 2 cops came inside and said they found no trace of anything while searching.
You're talking about out of a closed window?
It made no sense.
Is the cop
when
the ghost?
When the cops had left our house, I put my son into his bed and went to my room. I turned the light on my nightstand that was close to the side, grabbed my phone, and decided to check Instagram, thinking that if I could find anything, I would just call the cops back. I opened my story, and to my surprise, I couldn't find that old lady in there. I checked another story, and then checked another again. But in fact, it was just 2 women there singing. Feeling mixed emotions like scared, mad, and even more, stupid, I started checking some other people's stories from around my neighborhood. And still, she wasn't there.
Only 2 women.
But all of a sudden, I realized something. When I was checking some story feeds, I ran into one story of some woman who was standing right next to me during the caroling. Where my son and I should have been standing was replaced by nothing. It was like we weren't even there from the beginning. I couldn't believe what I'd just seen.
Are they the
I put
ghosts?
my hand over my mouth and couldn't say anything.
What is going on?
That Christmas Day became the most terrible moment for us. Well, I'm 33 now, and my son is now 7 years old. But even if everybody thinks that it doesn't sound true at all, we both still remember it like it was yesterday.
It was. Oh! Screw you! Alright, the next one is called Elf on the Shelf, short story by Crypt TV.
Pizza's almost here. It doesn't matter, I'm just gonna throw him in his room anyways. Just get over here, please. Thank you.
Ain't that bad looking, not gonna lie.
Thanks.
Hey, no tip? Bad.
Alright, bedtime, twerp, let's go.
What? It's like 8:15.
Twerp, what are you, 50?
Like bedtime to me,
And he's,
I don't even have a bedtime.
Timmy?
It's Christmas Eve.
Turner?
Hey, come back here, you little shit.
Oh!
Hey, babe.
Boy just 10 major. You left the door unlocked? Who does that? Boy just 10 major. Boy just barged. It should be like a killer with gun in hand, shot both of y'all. But and so what's up with this dude? Just barge in, just all like.
Shit. Hey, babe.
Like no.
God. Get down there. Rat.
It's Christmas. No one cares but me. Just wish you were real, and I could do whatever I want.
Well, you can't because you're touching the elf. You can't do that. The elves lose their magic. Dumb kid. Oh, hey. Oh, yo. Remember when I said she ain't that bad looking? I wasn't lying. Not one bit. Whoa! Yo. Okay, I just want to get something off my chest real quick. So the reason why I laughed when the elf stabbed her, it's because when the blood sprayed on the guy's face, it just looked like someone the ketchup bottle just squirted in his face. What else? Oh yeah, that ending. How was that gonna like actually end? What is supposed to be like the aftermath? Like, what if the parents called the police? Would they blame the kid? Would they say that there's a killer that broke in the house killed the couple and just left? I mean, that would make sense because the guy came in the house probably and killed them. Probably didn't know the kid was in the house, but because he was sleeping in the basement, and then just left. Or is it like child's play where they just blame the kid? I don't know. There's a lot of questions to be out of there, but anyway, let's get to the last story for tonight. All right, guys. So this last video is called "Milk and Cookies Naughty List." Crypt TV. Yes, once again, my Crypt TV.
Crystal, I told you these cookies are for Santa.
But I want one!
Honey, you already had dessert. And if
Steve
you take the
Buscemi?
cookies, then Santa's not going to bring you any presents.
Santa is already fat.
And you're not?
One. He can have the carrots.
The carrots are for the reindeer. What you really need
That's what I said.
to get to bed so we can wake up and have a great Christmas together. Look, I know you get spoiled at your mom's house, but here I need you to respect my rules. So, don't eat the milk and cookies.
This is just a dad who wants to have the...
Only if you were a cookie.
Shut up, Daddy.
It's just a man who wants to have the best for his daughter. He's going through a custody battle. He's a great dad. Not to mention that he's also wearing a Freddy Krueger sweater. He's a great father. This girl, on the other hand... Santa?
Is it?
Hey, he's chewing like a dog. Oh no, that's obviously a demon.
Are those my presents?
Oh! Whoa! Whoa! This ain't the daughter hole! Oh, that was double gross. Is that coal for Crystal? Yeah. Is that coal? Yo, right there. Not even lying. I was legit gagging right there. Ah, that's gross. Spit his daughter's blood in his face, and then he threw up. Ah! Ugh! Nasty! Anyway, guys, that's gonna do it all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to give it a like, subscribe, comment down below what you thought, and tag that with hashtag Merry Christmas. And I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And but speaking of which, before the 30th of December, I'm going to upload my schedule for 2023. So watch out for that next week. With all that being said, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Or tomorrow's Christmas, so probably not. I'll see you guys sometime next week. Deuces.